In this video, I will show you how to simplify complicated exponential expressions such as these using the properties of exponents. Let's start by simplifying the numerator. And in fact, I guess I really need to start by simplifying just this piece right here. Now, when I do 2 to the third power, which of course I need to do, understand that that's going to be 8. So that's why I'm going to have an 8 right here. Now, watch how that's different than what I'm going to do with u to the negative 3 power to the third power. When you raise a power to a power, you multiply. So this is going to be u to the negative 9 power. Alright, so look at these as being two different situations. A number to a power, you do the power. If you have a power to a power, you multiply them. Alright, so anyway, that's why I'm going to have u to the negative 9 power right there. And that's the same reason why I'm going to have v to the 9th power right now. And then I'm just going to copy down the rest of it. So this negative sign, I'm going to go ahead and put that way out in the front. So I've just got v, u to the negative 4th power, and then another v. You know what? Maybe I should go ahead and multiply those together. Save myself a step later. Okay. When I do v times v, that is v squared. When I do u to the negative 4th power times u to the negative 2 power, that is u to the negative 6th power. You add whenever you multiply variables that have exponents. You know, they have to have the same variable, but you add the exponents. So I've got this so far. In the denominator, I've got 2u to the 4th power, v to the 3rd power. Alright, we're halfway there. Okay, I really need to continue working on the numerator here a little bit more. So I've got u to the negative 9th power and u to the negative 6th power. So, let's might as well just keep the 8 for now. So that's going to be u to the negative 15th power as I'm adding those. And same with the v's, I need to add these exponents. So that's going to be v to the 11th power. Alright, meanwhile down here I've got the 2, and I've got the u to the 4th power, and I've got v to the 3rd power. Now, on my next step, I'm going to do two things. First off, anything that has a negative exponent needs to move to the other side of the fraction. So it's going to move down to the denominator and become a positive u to the positive 15th power. I'm also going to go ahead and reduce this fraction. This 8 over 2 business, that's 4 in the numerator. So that's why on my next step, I'm still going to have this negative sign sitting there. But because of the 8 over 2, that's going to be like 4 over 1, if you will. And let's see. So for now, I'm still going to have my u to the 4th power. I'm just going to bring that down. I've got my v to the 3rd power, and I've got my v to the 11th power. None of that stuff is moving anywhere. But my u to the negative 15th power will drop down and become u to the positive 15th power. So I think it's time for the final answer now. So that negative sign is not going anywhere. So I have my 4. Okay. In the denominator, I've got u to the 19th power. Now the v's, these v's will cancel each other out, leaving 8 v's in the numerator. So this is going to be the final answer for number 7. Number 8. In the numerator, first of all, this negative sign is going to disappear because I have this even power. So no more negative sign. Power to a power like this is when you multiply. So I will have m to the 16th power and n to the 16th power. Now to the denominator. I've got this 2 sitting there. N times n squared, that is n to the 3rd power. M to the negative 3 times m to the 4th power. I add those, I get 1, so that's just m. So I have that so far. Alright, that 2 is not going anywhere. The m's, m to the 16th power over m, those are going to cancel with each other, and that will leave 15 m's in the numerator. The n's are going to cancel against each other, and that's going to leave me with 13 n's in the numerator. So this is the final answer for number 8. Alright, number 9. So for now, I'm just going to leave this negative sign hanging out in the front. So I need to deal with the parentheses in the numerator before I can do anything else. So I've got 2xy squared times. This negative sign is going to go away because of the even power. 2 to the 2nd power is 4. Now for these variables with exponents, I'm going to wind up multiplying. So that's going to be x to the negative 6th power and y to the 8th power. Okay, similarly down in the denominator, I've got negative 2 to the 3rd power. That's what's happening. That negative sign is not actually going to go anywhere. So that's going to be negative 8. Alright, is what that is. So I've got negative 8. Again, when you have a power to a power, you multiply. So that's going to be y to the negative 6th power. Okay, time to consolidate the numerator. Also, these negative signs are going to cancel each other out at this point. So, no more negatives. Also, on the next step, I might as well do this. I've got 2 over 8. That's going to be like 1 over 4. So I'm going to have a 4 in the denominator on my next step. So I'm going to have a 4 in the denominator. And for now, I'm going to keep this y to the negative 6th power. Alright, but in the numerator, I have more than one variable of the same type. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply these together. So x, and this is like x to the 1 power now, times x to the negative 6th power. If you add those together, that is x to the negative 5 power. Adding these exponents, I'm going to have y to the 10th power. Now, anything that has a negative exponent is on the wrong side of the fraction line. So this is going to drop down and become a positive 5th power, and this is going to go up and become a positive 6th power. So first let me write down everything that is not moving. So that 4 is not going anywhere, and the y to the 10th power is not going anywhere. Okay, so the x to the negative 5th power is going to drop down and become x to the positive 5th power. The y to the negative 6th power is going to go up and become y to the positive 6th power. Now we are ready for the final answer. Alright, that 4 is just going to stay what it is. Putting these together, I will have y to the 16th power. I'm adding, of course. and then that x to the 5th power is just there. So this is the final answer for number 9. Alright, for number 10, let us work inside the parentheses first, starting with the numerator. I've got a negative sign there, so I'm just going to leave that out in the front. Right, all of this has the negative power of 3. Anyway, x to the negative 1 power times x to the 4th power, that's going to make x to the 3rd power. Y to the negative 3, y to the negative 2, that's y to the negative 5 power. And in the denominator, I've got x to the 3rd power, y to the negative 2 power. Staying inside the fraction. Anything with a negative exponent needs to move. So this is going to move into the numerator, while this will move into the denominator. Okay, and I can't help but notice that I've got this x to the 3rd power in the numerator and the denominator just jumping out at me. Those are definitely going to cancel each other out, so I won't bother copying them on the next step. So I've got the negative sign there, but the y to the negative 2 power moves up and becomes y squared. The y to the negative 5 power moves down and becomes y to the 5th power. Okay, now I've still got this negative 3 power on the outside. So we have learned that if you have a fraction raised to a negative exponent, you can do the reciprocal, and then it's a positive exponent. I'm going to use that rule now. Okay, so I'm going to keep this negative sign, but I'm doing the reciprocal. So I'll have y to the 5th power over y squared, and then now it's a positive 3 power. You know what? I changed my mind. There's nothing wrong with doing it that way, but I've been following a pattern of simplifying inside as far as I can, and why should I be breaking that rule right now? This can simplify it further, so I should be doing that. Let me just stick to my normal patterns. So these y's will cancel each other out and leave 3 y's in the denominator. Okay, so I have 1 over y to the 3rd power. Now I'm going to do the reciprocal thing I talked about. So this is going to become negative y to the 3rd power to the positive 3 power. Alright, I did the reciprocal and I made it positive just like I said, and that will set me up for the final answer. This negative sign is going to stay because this is an odd power. You know what I mean. Negative 1 to the 3rd power is still negative 1. So this is going to be negative y to the 9th power. That's the final answer for number 10. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Go ahead and click here in the red apple to watch the next video. Click in the green apple to subscribe, or click the yellow apple for the full playlist.